All right, what's up, everyone, and welcome to another random episode right here on Stay and Play. And before we continue any further, I'd like to say Happy New Year to everyone. I hope the festive season was fantastic. I hope Christmas was good. Um, yeah, and I've been away for a while enjoying my December break, but now I'm back and ready to share what I've been up to this past December. So let's jump into it. So today I am going to do a quick, well, I hope it's quick. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. A quick review on Forspoken. Recently, well, not recently, but Forspoken is available on the PlayStation Plus games catalog, and it's a game that I've always wanted to play. Never had, I guess, the opportunity until this December break. And I guess I didn't, it's quote unquote free, right? Because it's part of the PlayStation catalog. So yeah, I had the opportunity to play it. I've jumped in. I've put in about 45 to 50 hours in, and I think I have enough game time and gameplay to share my thoughts on this. Forspoken was announced a while back. I think it was one of the games that was announced before the PS5 dropped. So it was one of the games that like, oh man, it's like, I mean, look at this trailer. This looks amazing, right? This was the announcement trailer, and it touted like RPG elements, an amazing world, cool traversal mechanics, magic, interesting enemy types, and so on. So already from the trailer, you can already see that this thing looks amazing. However, when it came out, the reception wasn't as great as I had hoped it would be. And looking at some reviews, yeah, they mentioned what was wrong or what they expected or what they didn't do right, but I figured I'd give my own opinion years later. So for those who haven't played Forspoken, there will be some spoilers here, but for those who have, and maybe you share the same thoughts or share different thoughts, please leave your comments in the comment section below. I'd very much love to hear them or read about them. So I'd like to start off with the story. Story is basically about a New York girl who gets transported to another world where she is tasked with saving that world. Um, Basically your classic Japanese isekai storyline over here. So the difference is that as you progress, you learn more about the world. You start learning that the character that you play as Frey is actually from that world. So um, she got transported to our world when she was young, and then later on transported back to her world because it was time. It was time for her to save the world because it was falling apart and so on and so forth. Yeah, so that's basically the game, the story, and it just there's a lot of nuances that I'm obviously omitting here, but I'd rather you play the game to kind of figure it out on your own. I wouldn't want to spoil too much, but that's basically it. And you get to this new world because you picked up this cuff, right, that you put on and then get transported to this new world. This cuff is sentient, it's speaking to you, and it for some reason it gives you these powers, right? You get these like rock projectile powers, and you can start like shooting things because now the game basically turns into a shooter. Aim with L2, shoot with R2, right? So it's got these shooting mechanics going on, the classic L2 R2 button aim shoot mechanic, and that is the the main highlight of the fighting mechanics. All right, you get different powers as you progress, but the way you execute them, or the primary execute or the primary magic, is L2 R2. You do get access to other support magic types or magic powers that you activate with L1, or yeah, if I remember, it's just L1, and then also other magic types that you can also activate with R1, if I remember, or you choose the different magic types that you want with R1 and so on. So you got your support magic, you got your main magic. You start off with these rock powers, earth bending basically, and yeah, you progress. You have the cuff kind of like as your companion, right? So you're talking back and forth between the dialogue happens between basically Frey and the Cuff as we're going on, and the world that you're thrust into is huge. There's a lot of things to view, a lot of things to see, and um, I don't mind having a huge map. Um, what I mind is because I'm like almost like a completionist, right? I like to do all these secondary things first, but there's a lot of stuff to do, a lot of towers, a lot of dungeons, a lot of caves, a lot of chests, especially these treasure chests, just scattered throughout the world. You'll be wondering if everyone is rich in this world. Just chests, treasure chests all over the place. but but hey, that's how they filled up this map, right? And then you get all these different enemy types. A lot of the enemies that you'll fight are kind of like wildlife that has been transformed by this kind of sickness that is going on through the world. And yeah, so you'll be fighting a lot of wildlife, deer, or like moose or bears, wolves, things that kind of look like lions, things that look like overgrown badgers. And then you have your classic goblins, these winged woman. I forgot what they're called in the game. Then then you also have your unique boss types like dragons and I guess phoenix or phoenix phoeni. I don't know what's the plural phoenixes. Yeah, so you have all these different enemy types that you encounter. Then you also encounter your humanoid enemy types like the knights and the archers and these other weird ladies that carry like this balance thing for judgment and all these. Yeah, so they do have an interesting array of enemy types, not as diverse as I would have personally liked, but each enemy type is susceptible to a certain type of magic, so you'll be switching between rock, fire, and water magic types. And then later on you get, I think, electricity as well. So yeah, so each enemy type is susceptible to a specific type of magic, and you'll be able to use this magic to take them out. Now, the magic is enhanced as well with upgrades, right? So you get these cloaks that you can upgrade that give you special stat boosts, and then you also get necklaces that you can also encounter or discover throughout the world and unlock that also give you magic boosts and stats and certain stat upgrades. And then you also get like fingernail polish. You can like paint phrase fingernails with specific magic items that also give you again magic boost and stats boosts on certain stats and so on. So multiple ways to like improve your magic output, and yeah, it's cool. I mean, can't complain there. It's a very, I wouldn't say unique, but I guess it's a very female or lady orientated way to upgrade the person, right? With like necklaces, nail polish, and all that stuff, which I thought was cool. Anyway, I have no nothing bad to say about that. I thought it was a very smart or unique way to upgrade a player or like improve a player's stats. So yeah, as you traverse through the world, you fight these different enemies in the wild. Do your missions and so on. You upgrade your player levels, right? You get levels, then you get these magic. I'll call them blue balls, right? The more you collect of these mana, all right, that's what they're called actually. Then you can basically improve or upgrade your magic abilities. Each magic type, fire, rock, and so on, has their own magic upgrades, or like a whole page just for like the different upgrades and magic that you can use with that magic type, right? So use the mana to upgrade them. Then you can also improve them by doing specific challenges using that specific power, which I thought was also cool. Throughout the world, you encounter these little fur creatures, these cats that apparently had roles in the world. Some of them would help like judge people's like crimes. Some of them would help like store knowledge for the libraries and all that, which was weird. I thought they would have more um, utility within the game, but they're basically companions that run around with you and help you collect stuff. They look cute though. Can't complain. They look cute. So yeah, that's in terms of like the world. Now, more in terms of, I didn't touch on this earlier, but in terms of the story, you'll be fighting bosses called tantas. And these tantas have been corrupted by something and they're going mad. And now, because they're going mad, they're actually doing harm to the citizens of the world rather than protecting them and so on. The original role of these tantas were like, queens that would do good by the people, but because of this corruption that has been infecting the land, they have been also corrupted by it. And now you're tasked to take them out because they're killing the people and the people don't like them anymore. So as Frey, you're reluctant to do that. You just want to get back home to New York. But slowly, as you start forming relationships with the people, you start being like, yeah, you know what, F it, I'm gonna kill these hoes. Yeah, because they're killing my people and so on and so forth. So that's a bit more on the story. Back to the gameplay, the traversal system, the parkour and the running and the swinging and jumping and all the ways of traversing the land. I love it. I love it. Like, and one thing I like about it is that it's not like a button you just press, right? They've put thought into it in terms of like to engage the player. So you'll initially just start with like a super dash, but obviously doing this takes stamina. You have a stamina bar, and doing this takes stamina. So eventually you can't keep up doing it forever. Then you unlock basically a skip maneuver, right, where you can like hip hop all over the place. So like when you hop and you time the jump button as you land, you kind of like gain more stamina. So it's almost like a kangaroo thing, right? Where they actually reserve stamina every time, like during the hops, right? So you have that mechanic. As you go through the game, then you start unlocking basically a fire dash mechanic. So when Frey lights up in red and you press the right button, then she gets a boost. And then if you improve that skill, that boost can actually replenish your whole stamina. So you can keep going like that. And then you end up also unlocking like a whip tool that you can use to like quickly grapple onto a ledge and pull yourself towards it, or use it to swing from certain bars and certain grappling points, which also improves the traversal. And then my favorite is when you actually unlock the surfboard water feature. So when you're on water, rather than falling in and swimming, you can actually just like glide over the water with this like surfboard magic thing, which I thought was cool. And you also have your jumping mechanic there where she pulls moves off and stuff like that. So yeah, for me the highlight of the game is the traversal. I love how they implemented that. Very very fun and engaging traversal mechanic. I felt like almost like Spider-Man in Spider-Man. Like it's not just swinging. When you web zip to a point and you press jump just before you launch yourself, you're looking for ways or methods to get to where you're trying to go as quickly as possible using all the techniques you have at your disposal. So yeah, they definitely thought about that, and shout out to the person in charge of that aspect of the game. That was awesome. Now the things that I didn't like so much, again, the map is huge, a lot of stuff to do, but it's a lot of repetitive stuff. So tower points to like open the map area, a lot of chests, a lot of repetitive fights and things that you'll do over and over again. Obviously this is collecting materials and items that you'll use to improve yourself. But there was just so much. It got to a point where I just started ignoring chests. I did not care about chests. I just cared about getting mana, and whatever items that I would collect as I played, those were the items I'd use. Now, which One thing that I would mention is the chests do give you more items, which are used for like upgrading your player and creating potions for health and all those things. But it's just a lot. My goodness, it's a lot. And yeah, I just gave up on certain things throughout the world. Other thing is that I wouldn't say that the world feels empty, right? But there'll be points where I'm like, oh, okay, I'm fighting these birds again. Oh, and just a shout out, I hate birds. Those are like the the one enemy type that I hate. Easy to take down, but they're so annoying because you'll be like pointing your camera upwards to find them, and then sometimes you can't lock on properly, and they're all over the place. But yeah, just an added note on that. So yeah, one of my biggest dislikes is just how big the world is, but how repetitive it is in terms of like what you have to do throughout the world. I love that the map is big. There's like different biomes and different areas and stuff. I just would have preferred if there was like more meaningful events or things to do throughout the world rather than these small little pickup quests, and I wouldn't even call them quests, like just item collections and stuff like that. Another thing that I would say is a gripe, but it was funny, is the conversation between the Cuff and Frey. Obviously, there's only so much they can say, so things will be repetitive. But there are times where Frey would drop an F bomb, and it would just sound cringe, and that cringe is actually what made it funny. So I'd actually find myself laughing, but yeah, it just didn't feel right.
Beyond the door, she was greeted by the most miraculous sight.
Somewhere to lie the fuck down.
But yeah, I mean, I appreciate the fact that those moments are in the game, the conversation and kind of like how they interact with one another. But again, it becomes repetitive. So I don't know if there's a part in the options menu to switch it off. Yeah, so that's the case. When it comes to the settings, there are options. You can prioritize quality mode over performance mode. Obviously, I played in performance. I'd rather have a 60, especially because it's like a shooter game, so there's a lot going on, the traversal and stuff like that. So it feels a lot better in 60 than in 30. So that's what I would recommend. But overall, I finished the game with a feeling of happiness that it was a good game. You know, I didn't feel like my 45 to 50 hours was wasted or anything like that. I felt that it was good. Things could have been better. Again, like how I mentioned, the things that I don't like, those things could have been improved on. But overall, I would recommend this game. It's a good game. If I had to rate it, I'd give it like a 7 out of 10. Yeah, a 7 out of 10. I think that's fine, fair enough. But yeah, those are my thoughts on Forspoken. A good game, not a great, not an amazing game, but a good game. Certainly has its flaws, but if you're looking for an interesting isekai magic RPG game with awesome traversal mechanics, and again, the story is not bad. The story is quite interesting as well. I would recommend it. I would recommend Forspoken. So please, ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't had the opportunity, have a go at Forspoken, especially if you got the PlayStation Plus subscription and it's in the games catalog. Go ahead, download it. It's quote unquote free, right? So yeah, what do you have to lose except a few hours? But I overall thought it was a good game, and I found it enjoying in certain aspects. So please have a look. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys soon again. Have a great one. I'm out.